Wife 11-year, 2 kids 11 and 9. She cheated for 8 months. I knew for the last 3, still working on it. So, to summarize, I've been married to my wife for 11 years and have 2 children who are 11 and 9 years old. I was aware that she had cheated for the last 3 months since she had cheated for the previous 8 months. So I waited until I had documentation, including video and a solid lawyer's separation agreement in my possession before approaching her. This occurred around 9 months ago, and I'm presuming it's referred to as D-Day in the United States of America. My companion and I hung about waiting for her to get home from her AP class. She was completely unaware that I was aware of anything. She got really afraid when she saw I was sitting at the table, so I urged her to have a seat at the table since we needed to talk. When I discovered the news, I was already fatigued and didn't give a. I had already decided that divorce was the only option the day I learned the news. Mrs. Husband takes a seat, looking worried. Mrs. I'm sorry, but I don't understand what you're saying. You're making me feel uncomfortable. What exactly is the aim of all of this? My own thoughts on the subject. I'm not here to discuss your infidelity with you. I already know everything about it. I'm here to assist you in navigating the waters of our divorce and separation. I piled my wedding ring on top of the folder containing the separation paperwork and put it in front of her, making her seem uncomfortable. The lady starts begging, apologizing, and pleading with the other women. Everything you would expect and more. As a result, I'm simply tossing whatever she comes up with back in her face since we're not going anywhere. I just love you. Me. You've hurt me the worst I've ever been hurt, and you're sleeping with other people because you care so much about me. After a few hours, I tell her that she should check into a hotel and that we would continue our journey the next day. I notify her that if she does not sign the separation agreement, I would reveal everything she has been doing today to the whole world on social media. I understand that I signed under duress, but at the time, all I wanted was for it to be over with and done with. Eventually, she signs and disappears, and I get messages and phone calls throughout the night. I have been known to answer in a single rapid response. I will not be able to read this message or chat with you until tomorrow afternoon, says the author. The significance of the situation became apparent to her the next day, and she is prepared to go to whatever extent to get another opportunity with the MC or whatever it may be. I informed her that I'd file for divorce on Monday, and that she had 90 days to convince me that divorce was a poor decision for us. What I don't understand is why I offered it. I was exhausted, I'd made the decision to call it quits, and I just folded. The following day, I had compiled a list of things she needed to complete. I did not share the list with her. Instead, I informed her that the list existed and that, if she did not adhere to it, we would be forced to relocate away from the children, the divorce would be finalized, and I would notify everyone of what she had been up to. At the same time, I cautioned her that even perfect compliance was no guarantee that we would not divorce, that my confidence in her was at an all-time low at the moment, and that I no longer cherished her company. It was only because of our children that I considered reconciling and starting over with her. She had destroyed all we had, and the only reason I considered doing so was because of our children. I didn't want to admit it, but I was unable to carry out my intentions for the second time. The following items were included in the list. This included keeping a written record of everything she had done with him, explaining how it all started, and proving to me and my children that she had the legal right to do this. To them, it would be pointless for me to put up any effort if she cut shortcuts, rose-colored anything, or omitted anything. In addition to her social media profiles, she also has total access to all of her phone numbers, laptops, salaries, and bank records. She was constantly forthcoming with information about where she was and what she was doing. Only after that, MC and IC for her 2-3 times a week until she was able to make her own judgments was necessary. She agreed, produced a list, and provided me access to the information. Then, only after she had finished each project, I told her of points 5, 6, and 7 in chronological sequence. 5. She was required to meet with AP wife in person in order to tell her everything, hand up all of the evidence she had, and offer to testify in court if it became necessary. When he asked, she declined, stating she couldn't do anything like that to him. I reminded her that she had put AP feelings ahead of her own family's needs and wants. Her failure to do so would effectively end this whole reconciliation process. Otherwise, I was going to inform AP wife about the situation. If she didn't want to own it, there was no inclination on my side to help. If I had to tell her, I would tell her that there was no way we could ever be friends again. Finally, she agreed and informed App's wife of everything that had happened. App's wife hit her, kicked her, yanked her hair, and shouted at her in front of their children. Wife accepted it and did not respond negatively. I didn't put up any barriers between her and the world. She had a few bald spots on her body. Later, in the car, I informed her that AP had been seeing another woman in addition to my wife, and I provided her with evidence obtained from a private investigator I had hired on my own initiative. She was in anguish when she realized she was nothing more than a piece of meat to this guy, and I'm ashamed for admitting how much I enjoyed seeing her suffering. Fifth, she had to provide an explanation to the children about her actions and the possible ramifications for our family. 6. Inform our immediate relatives and friends of what she has done to them. 7. I have a 3-month romance with her, lie to her face, and sneak around behind her back to get what I wanted. Developing a deep emotional relationship with another woman is essential. Her humiliation, her anguish, and her betrayal were all things I wanted her to understand about what she was asking of me. She figured out that we were gambling on the possibility that I'd fall in love and abandon her for my AP. At the end of 3 months, I would tell her the truth about my feelings for her. I would sneak about and pretend to be cheating on number 7 since it was really tough for both of us. I had Tinder loaded on my phone, and I would show her pieces of it from time to time. I pretend to be texting secretly while doing so. I'd go out and party till the wee hours of the morning. I'd want to go away for a few days on the weekends. In reality, I was not aware of anybody around me. My accommodations were only of hotels, rented cottages, and airbnbs. Most of the time, I'd just get drunk and my heart out. Her agitation was increasing, and I was feeling terrible as well. I detested the situation. I was barely able to complete it, and I was just pretending to be successful. She seemed to be doing it easily. This is the most difficult component for me. I am unable to see her in the same light that everyone else does. My intention was to demonstrate to her what she had asked me to forgive, but instead I realized just how evil of a person it takes to commit such a thing to another. We're presently in MC, and she's making excellent progress whilst I'm lagging behind. I believe that certain days are more difficult than others. As a matter of precaution, I'm keeping the divorce paperwork on hand since, for some reason, I haven't gone ahead and filed for divorce. I'm not sure I get what you're getting at. Even though we haven't been intimate or close, we haven't fought in a long time, so I consider that to be positive improvement. She has expressed her regret, and I understand that we still have a long way to go. Who knows where this is going to take us? I still can't get over how miserable I felt while I pretended, yet she did it with such ease. I just can't seem to get a nice picture of her. She had the appearance of a monster to me. I wish I could have ended it on the first day, but now that I've dragged both of us this far, it's impossible for me to do so. Is there any way for me to stop seeing her in this manner? All of my other enemies have been forgiven, but this one I just cannot forget. It had only been 7 weeks since I had told her that I had not been seeing anybody else. I couldn't keep up the pretense any longer, and I was miserable as a consequence of my actions. Stay tuned for next the part.